Hello, my name is Isaiah McCombs, and today I will be demonstrating how to take a blood pressure correctly and what the numbers mean once you take a blood pressure and why it's so important. Imagine if you could decrease your risk for heart attacks or strokes. Would you do it? What if I told you you could? All you had to do was take your blood pressure on a regular basis to decrease the risk. I personally live with high blood pressure. I used to live at 150 over 90, having a lot of strain on my heart and blood vessels. I wasn't taking care of myself, and I didn't understand what this meant when my doctor told me I was hypertensive. So I had to do some research, and I found out what I was doing to myself. I began to start monitoring my blood pressure and talking to my doctor to ways to get it down, and I lost weight to help decrease my risk. I eventually now live at 120 over 70 range, usually, therefore decreasing my risk for these diseases. Taking a patient's blood pressure is important because many of them have high blood pressure unaware of it and continue to live a long life with high blood pressure, which causes the heart to enlarge and lead to heart malfunctions such as heart attack and stroke. The materials you'll need are a stethoscope and a blood pressure cuff and a patient, which I currently do not have a patient today, but I will explain the steps as I go. While monitoring blood pressure is important to track one's health, it is also important to know how to take it regularly and why. Blood pressure numbers are a systolic number and a diastolic number, systolic being the top number and diastolic being the bottom number. Systolic means the pressure of the heart once it beats, and then between the beats is rest periods, and that is your diastolic number. You will often see the numbers written 120 over 80, which is the normal blood pressure. What makes monitoring your blood pressure so important is because if it is high all the time, it can lead to many things such as enlargement of the heart, coronary artery disease, heart failure, stroke, traumatic brain injury, and renal failure. If you were to monitor your blood pressure regularly, you would know if it's too high, and you would know when to contact your healthcare provider to help intervene with these problems. Now that you understand why it is important, I'm going to explain how to take it. First, you will have to place your client in an upright position, feet flat on the floor, and arm at chest level, and make sure they haven't smoked or been running recently, and have them relax for 5 minutes before taking it. Next you'll need to get a blood pressure cuff that's the right size for them. The bladder of it is the part where the air fills up the cuff, and that will need to cover 80 to 100% of the arm. If you have too big of a cuff or too small of a cuff, it can lead to an inaccurate reading. You will place the cuff across the arm right here, and then you will palpate for the brachial artery, which in me you can see right here. And once you've found it, you're going to place the stethoscope with the bigger part, which is the diaphragm, on it. You will pump the cuff up, and once you hear the beat disappear, you will go up 30 to 40 more milligrams of mercury, and then you will take the bulb of it, and you will begin to let off some of the air and listening for the first number. Once you hear the first number, or the first beat, you'll know that is your systolic number. And then it'll continue to beat down until it'll start to disappear, and once you hear that last beat, that is your diastolic number. And it'll often be written such as 120, which would be your systolic number, and over 80 being your diastolic number. Now that I've told you the importance and how to take your blood pressure, I will teach you how to interpret the numbers that you get once you've taken it. A normal blood pressure is less than 120 systolic over less than 80 diastolic. Pre-hypertensive, which can lead to you wanting to intervene at this point before it gets to hypertensive 1, which the ranges would be 120 to 139 systolic over 80 to 89 diastolic. Then you have the next stage, which is your stage 1 hypertension, which is 140 to 159 systolic over 90 to 99 diastolic. And then the highest is stage 2 hypertension, which is above 160 over above 100 diastolic. All levels above 120 and over 80 put you at risk for these disease processes and increases the risk for high blood pressure chronically, unless you take steps to prevent these things. They also, if you don't have somebody else to teach to help with the checking your blood pressure, they also make automated ones. Sometimes they're not calibrated right, and that's what makes a manual blood pressure better. But if you don't have somebody there, these are a good option just so you can check your blood pressure on a regular basis to help prevent these devastating diseases. Now that I've explained the importance and how to take a blood pressure and how you interpret these numbers, you can teach other people and spread the information, and you may decrease and prevent your risk for these processes. Now that you've learned all these things, you can change your life for the better and begin to monitor for hypertension and high blood pressure. Thank you.